And thanks for the opportunity to just say a brief few words about this report. And it is the latest in a trend of reports that highlight serious problems with this country's water bodies. We know from it that Ireland will fail to meet the most basic European Union targets on restoring water bodies by 2027. And we can add to that the list of failures on environmental and on climate targets. The overall ecological health of the surface waters has declined across all body types since the last assessment of 2013 to 2018, and the number of monitored water bodies in satisfactory condition has declined by 1% in rivers, 3% in lakes, 16% in estuaries and 10% in coastal waters. There are a number of reasons for this, and urban wastewater and historic underinvestment in water treatment and wastewater is one of them. And it is ironic that this state spent over 100 million on water meters in a failed attempt to move towards privatisation of water and charging people for drinking water, while they're willing to spend up to 500 million on that disastrous policy and our network creaking and our water more polluted. And while urban growth meant that much of our water bodies suffered from severe issues with urban wastewater. But for me, the elephant in the room here was something that was raised earlier today when the Dáil debated a motion which sought to attempt to reduce nitrate use in this state. There is a direct link between the policies of Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael in growing the dairy herd and creating markets abroad for dairy products, and the deterioration of the water quality as a result of that nitrate use. And according to the National Dairy Council, Ireland exports almost 90% of its dairy output to 120 countries across the globe. The value of the exports has doubled, in line with a 50% increase in milk production since EU quotas were removed in 2015, from 2 billion to over 4 billion, where it's currently at. And there is a direct link between the decline in water quality in particularly the south and the southeast of the country and the profits of the very big agri-businesses. There's a direct link between the fact that the Goodman Group could post 150 million in profits from its Luxembourg headquarters to avoid tax here, and the decline in the kingfisher and in the salmon numbers. It's the agricultural policy that Fine Gael especially that has led to this decline and the threat to wildlife and indeed to human health. Milk production in Ireland jumped 68% from under 5 billion litres in 2008 to 8.3 billion litres in 2020. And there is a direct link between that 40% increase in the dairy herd numbers over the last decade and the damage it has done to our estuaries and to our rivers. And as the profits of the big dairy sector and the industries around it have risen, the health of our rivers and water has fallen. We need to end this unsustainable model of agriculture. It's damaging to the majority of ordinary farmers, it's damaging to our water bodies, and it's damaging climate. It means challenging those vested interests that have driven the agri-policy here, challenging the narrative that we are somehow feeding the world and ignoring the truth that we are feeding the profits of Goodman, Don and a small other number of very wealthy cohorts at a huge cost to the environment and to our rural communities.